Hey everyone, it's Michael, GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. I feel so much better, dude. This medicine the doctor gave me makes me feel a lot better. Anyway, here I am doing the final GYG Give Yourself Goosebumps book video. This is a ranking video for the covers only. I just did a video yesterday, about 45 minutes long, ranking the actual stories, my feelings about them. But here we are, talking about just the covers. You know, your mom always told you don't judge a book by its cover. But I would tell you a lot of the time you can really spot what you're looking for depending on the cover, the title, all that kind of stuff, especially when it comes to Goosebumps books. Why would you assume if you go into like a zombie book, you're going to get a vampire book? Not very smart, Mom. Anyway, so here we are talking about GYG, and let me start off this video with this little tidbit of information I wanted to share with you guys because I had heard this in passing on different things, didn't really know too much about it. Of course, there are 50 of the GYG books. There are 42 original regular books, and then there's 8 special editions. I have all of them here, all of the original covers. There's only one re-release, which was Please Don't Feed the Vampire. In recent years, had a reissue, a new cover from Brandon Dorman. That's not included here. It's just the original covers for everything. And of course, many of you know, there were multiple artists who worked on these GYG covers. The first one ever, Escape from the Carnival of Horrors, was done from Tim Jacobus himself, who did all of the originals, all the Series 2000 covers. I love his work. Escape from the Carnival of Horrors is one of the best in this entire series as a book, even though it's the first book of the GYG series, but also the cover itself is one of the best of this particular era or series of Goosebumps. Give Yourself Goosebumps, of course, or Choose Your Own Adventure books as well, which are pretty fun. And basically, there were 3 artists. Like I said, Tim Jacobus, then we had the second man who jumped in named Mark Nagata, who worked on 23 covers, and I believe that was from book number 2 all the way to book number 24, I believe was his final one. And in the midst of there, about 22 or 23, I think it was about book 23, I believe, is when this happened, they changed the art style of the books, which was a horrible mistake. A terrible mistake, in my opinion. You used to have the art style look like this. This is one of the worst books in the series, but the cover is not completely a loss. This is Beware the People Purple Peanut Butter. This is how detailed and cool the covers used to be with the holographic backgrounds and all that. Very 1990s, very nice. Look at the detailing on the cover here. You can see all the goop falling off of his head and the kind of design on the crust and the detailings and stuff. Looks really good. Even the feet in the background is a nice little touch with the green walls in the kitchen or house or whatever. Very detailed, very 1990s, very nice. Now we went from that all the way into I think about book 23, I believe. I think it's Zapped in Space is the book where the cover art changed all of a sudden. Not even so much the art, just the format of the covers. They got rid of the holographic stuff. They just kind of went to a plain old, kind of a boring cover. I've said this numerous times when I've reviewed these books. This cover style does not impress me. You have good covers sometimes in this style, like this particular one, Zombie School, which I really like. There's a zombie kid holding a tray of macaroni and cheese. Very nice. Where have you ever seen anything like that, ever? But look at the color scheme, dude. The color scheme is the biggest issue here for me when it comes to the new art style. It's just so bland looking. And a lot of these books in this brand, in this new style, aren't bland at all. They have quite a few good books in there. My personal favorite, or one of my personal favorites, in my top 2 or 5, is One Night in Pain House. Phenomenal book. Really bad cover. That's going to be at the very bottom, close to the bottom at least, of this list, and you'll see that when we get there. There's a lot of bad covers in GYG's series, just so you know. And this art style format, changing the holographic stuff to this boring, plain whatever this is a big mistake in my opinion. Anyway, when Mark Nagata got off the books at about book 24, from book 25 to the end, Craig White took over and did more of what that kind of art style was. I think that was one of his, as a matter of fact, Zombie School. Not many of those, Craig White covers really impressed me all that much. They have cool covers there. It's just, a lot of them feel like Microsoft art, and I've said that over and over again. I am just not impressed with them. I think it's probably my least favorite covers ever. A lot of people give the Horrorland covers a lot of crap. I don't think they're as bad as some of these GYG later covers from halfway through the series onward. I don't entirely blame Craig White for that. It feels to me like it's probably a decision from Scholastic or somebody to just go cheaper. Maybe Goosebumps was kind of dying out at the time, which it was. I don't know. It just seems to me like a really kind of pathetic move and really kind of putting GYG on the back burner. Maybe people weren't buying them as much. I don't know. I don't know anything about that history. I wasn't really paying attention to GYG because I didn't know it existed until about 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway, with all that being said, I wanted to bring attention to all of those cover artists. I think they deserve some respect for their work. Very good work, as a matter of fact. Now, moving along, I have to put my phone back in my hand because I have to look through my list. Totally forgot. I'm going brain dead today. As I said, there are 50 of these books, and I'm going to start off from the very worst cover, in my personal opinion, all the way up to the best. I'm going to try to work through this as fast as I can, not comment too much, but let's begin. The bottom of the list, and I've said this before as well in the review, by the way, I've reviewed every single one of these books standalone on their own videos. If you want to check out those reviews, you can go out and check the playlist on my channel. They'll be there in the Give Yourself Goosebumps playlist. Anyway, the bottom of the list for me, and this is one of the absolute worst offenders of a horrible cover for a really solid read that surprised me a lot by how much I enjoyed it, and that is Elevator to Nowhere. What an awful cover. Oh my lord. Somebody else mentioned this looks like Doc Brown. They're not wrong. How did I miss that when I reviewed this book and made fun of some parts of this book? How did I miss that? Number 49 on my list is another really awful book, probably the worst book of the GYG series in my personal opinion, and that is Night of a Thousand Claws. Look at this awful cat lady cover. The book is focused on cat people or cats and whatever, and it sucks. The cover sucks. Everything about it sucks. Number 48, Shop Till You Drop Dead. Yes, that is a horrible color scheme, by the way, with the orange and blue. Just kind of, it doesn't really work well with the kind of colors they're using for this. It should be a brighter orange, brighter blue, or darker of one or the other. And this is a demon holding boxes from shopping. Bad cover. This one here is pretty pathetic, too. This is number 47, and that is Invaders from the Big Screen. It's kind of a King Kong homage. Of course, you have the screen that he's coming through in a theater, and in the background you have like the Empire State Building or whatever this building is supposed to be. You have things like that, people screaming. Not a very good cover. Pretty bad. Rough book, pretty bad cover. Number 46, a really rough one that I thought for sure was going to be at the bottom of the list until I really started paying attention, really had to bat these covers around in my head. This one is Into the Twister of Terror. Really solid read. Really awful cover. This pug's face and like the design of him, the color scheme, it looks like Microsoft artwork to me. Really bad. The only thing that put this one higher up the way it was in the list so far is this tornado background. The ground details here I thought were pretty cool. Very nice little cover. Well, very nice details to a bad cover. Let me restate that. This one here, one of my favorites. Easily my top 5, like I said. Number 45 is One Night in Pain House. Phenomenal read. If you can get your hands on this very rare GYG book, special edition on top of that, this is a phenomenal book. Really genuinely frightening and creepy. It's a haunted house story. Really good. This cover sucks. It does not do it justice. It does not even describe it as a haunted house story. Really a big missed opportunity. Number 44 on my list. It came from the internet. This is very obvious why this is not that great. It's only good because of the Goosebumps poster in the background. And I took it to the part of the list that it was because of that. Just so you know. Moving along to number 43, Lost in Stink Eye Swamp. Not a very good cover, just a man-eating plant. A Venus flytrap, but I guess it's a Venus man-trap. I don't know. Number 42, we have Secret Agent Grandma. Horrible cover. Even down to, like, the legs. Look at this. Alien coming out of an old grandma costume. Look at the legs, dude. This is how bad that art is. The only thing that I really like this for is the roses. The roses look very nice. Very detailed, very pretty. Like your grandmother's, garden. Other than that, terrible cover. Number 41, The Deadly Experiments of Dr. Eek. Not a fan of this book. Not a fan of this book at all. Pretty bad book. Cover is not that great either. The only reason that this is higher up in the list of covers than a lot of these is because of the detailing, kind of like Secret Agent Grandma. Not a fan of either of those books, but that one's higher up because of the details. Kind of has that familiarity of original classic Goosebumps covers, but not really getting there. It's an early on one, too, like number 3, I think. Alright, number 40 on my list is Attack of the Beastly Babysitter. This one I do not like the cover that much. It's mainly because just with the camera angle and stuff of this top-down view and all of that, which a lot of these GYG covers have that. This one, of course, being more detailed, more homely. I kind of like that. One of the things about it that I don't like is that it reminds me, especially when you see some of the details, like this rat monster thing, the Beastly Babysitter, it kind of looks like old children's books. Like, I mean from like the 80s, the 70s. That's what it reminds me of every time I looked at it. And it took me till like yesterday to really process that that's what it reminded me of. Alright, moving along to number 39, Trapped in Batwing Hall. Not a very impressive book. Not a really impressive cover either. Just all kind of fits. The holographic stuff's beautiful though. Look at how golden and shiny that is. I love it. Very nice. This one's not too great either. It's Your Plant Food is number 38 on my list. Broccoli Boy. I keep talking about Broccoli Boy here. He's not really a piece of broccoli, but he looks like it, you know, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. Not a very good design. Look at how horribly designed this face is. That Microsoft artwork does no favors for Goosebumps, for Give Yourself Goosebumps, for anybody tied to that at all. Number 37 is just a very basic, boring Microsoft art looking type of thing, and that is Alone in Snakebite Canyon. It's just a picture of a snake. Not really anything to, you know, admire at. But it looks good. I like the camera. I like all of that stuff that's focused on it. Looks decent. Number 36, one that I read recently, the next to last GYG book I read and reviewed for the channel, is, number 36 is number 36. That is Ship of Ghouls, which is number 36 of the GYG series, and 36 on my list, like I said. There's blood in the water on that shark. That's the only reason he's as high as he is. Pretty cool. I didn't expect them to do that. I was going to put Snakebite Canyon over this book, but I saw the blood in the water, and I was like, nah. Anyway, moving along to the next cover. That is number 35, Revenge of the Body Squeezers, another special edition. Really hard book to get your hands on, by the way. Not a very impressive cover for a pretty solid book. Number 34, and this one, of course, is when the cover started changing the format and the designs on them. Zapped in Space. Pretty cool alien story. If you haven't read this, pretty nice. I actually don't think the formatting of this cover is that great, of course, but I do think the colors they choose, like this green and this kind of grayish black, they look good. I like them mixed together. The alien design looks pretty nice. This is before they became total Microsoft artwork, which is nice. Of course, Nagata was still making that, I believe, at that point. I think he did 2 more. Yeah. 2 more. This one and number 24 before he left. Number 33 is the Werewolf of Twisted Tree Lodge. Excuse me. Yes, that is a werewolf reading a book by a fireplace. Not the greatest cover ever, but a really, really good book. I recommend that one a lot if you can get your hands on it. Number 32, Into the Jaws of Doom. One of the most overcomplicated Goosebumps books to read ever. Completely. Instead of having one choice per page in this book, you have like multiple choices, dude. You jump around so much in this freaking book. It is such a mess. Me and Goosebumps Completionist were ranting about this yesterday. The cover's cool. There's some cool things in it, like the Visible Man, which I think is one of the best Goosebumps villains of all time, in my personal opinion. One of the freakiest of all time. And the book itself is a mess. Cover's fine, I guess. Alright, number 31 on my list is The Curse of the Cave Creatures, another special edition book. Pretty cool read. I enjoyed this book. The cover's not great, but the book itself is pretty cool. Next one here, number 30, Return to Terror Tower. Yes, a very bland cover for a pretty solid read. That is a sequel to the A Night in Terror Tower from the classic Goosebumps series from back in the day. Of course, it had episodes attached to it. Pretty fine read for a book with a rough cover. This one here I did not want to put as high as I had to, but the more I looked at it, the more I looked at the details, the more I saw, again, that familiarity of the cover and how it seemed like something familiar to a lot of fans like myself of the old classic series from Tim Jacoba's covers and whatever. This one has that feel to it just a little bit. Just a little bit. It is a Nagata cover. This one is number 29 on my list, and that is Under the Magician's Spell. I'm not a fan of this. The camera work is not the greatest. They need to just kind of move it up a little bit. But the kid is laughing over being chopped in half. And I can't tell if it's supposed to be screaming. Here's a zoom in. That looks like a laugh to me, right? Like, it's not just me. That kid is laughing and he just lost his legs. Like, what? What's wrong with you? Not a fan of it. Not a big fan of that cover, but it looks good with the design. It has some nice little touches here and there, like the hardwood floor looks really good, the curtains look good, but the kid's laughing. The kid's laughing. Why? Why? I don't know. Number 28, Danger Time. That's a creepy looking clock there. A creepy looking clock. It's like it'd be in like an old Disney cartoon. Number 27, Hocus Pocus Horror, another magic focused book with a very patchy looking monster from the story. Pretty decent read. Cover's okay. I don't hate it, you know. This one here, nice details. I mentioned this earlier in the video. The re-release, the reissue cover, looks like some of the bad GYG covers, which is sad because Brandon Dorman did it, who's come a long way as a Goosebumps artist for the covers. This one here, the original cover, I prefer quite a bit to its reissue cover, and that is Please Don't Feed the Vampire. Yes, that is Fifi from the Goosebumps movie. I like the color design for the holographic stuff. By the way, in case you didn't know, these covers have different patterns for the holographic design. I'll show that off in a little bit when I get another one of these covers. But, yeah, the art looks good. I like it. It reminds me very much of an old 90s classic series Goosebumps book from the original OG 62. Very nice. I have to switch out my stacks. I have 2 stacks of GYG books, 25 books apiece, and I have to move them around, my dudes. So give me just a second to switch them out. Getting old. Getting old. Alright, there is that. And I'm going to take a sip of a drink, too, while I am about to start up. Alright, get my phone. Alright, number 25. We are halfway through the list, folks. What do you think my top 10 is going to be? I'd love to hear that down in the comments section before you get to that part of the video. Maybe I'll recap you, too, and remind you to put that in there. Alright, number 25 is Zombie School. Yeah, I talked about this. Pretty cool cover for what it is. I like that one. Not the greatest, but it's nice. It's nice is what I meant. I read it wrong in my brain. Number 24, this one reminds me a lot of Pennywise the Dancing Clown, Trapped in the Circus of Fear. Another special edition book. That clown is so creepy, dude. Even for Microsoft artwork style, very nice. Really like that for the most part. Alright, number 23. This one might surprise some of you that it made it up as high as it did, but I do think the details are cool, and I do have a lot of kind of a positive feel about this book when I remember reading it years ago. And that is Weekend at Poison Lake. Don't ask me what that creature is, but I do like it. I can't remember what it is, but I did like the design. I like that kind of, that Poison Lake look, that kind of yellow look. Very nice. Not great, but nice. Number 22 on my list, The Twisted Tale of Tiki Island. Not the greatest cover ever, but I do not hate it at all. Very nice detailing. It's just so close to feeling like a Tim Jacobus cover. Just so close. Not there entirely, but very close. Oh, by the way, here's the holographic pattern thing I was talking about. You know, the other one was like the squares. Here's like a, kind of like a camo type of thing, or like leaves or something. It looks very nice. I like how these patterns change up. No one ever gave them credit for that. I don't think anybody ever even talks about that when they discuss these covers, which is a shame because they deserve to be brought up about how nice that pattern was to change up every time. They didn't have to do that, and frankly, that's probably a reason they stopped having that style of Goosebumps covers, possibly, because they probably ran out of ideas after like 24 of those things. Alright, this one here, as you know, I'm not a big fan of. As a book, I talked about this as one of my examples at the beginning of the book. Number 21 is Beware of the Purple Peanut Butter. Again, I showed this off quite a bit. I love the cover colors with the green, the blue, the purple. I think it all looks really good together aesthetically. The cover itself, not too bad. Pretty nice with the goopiness and the gooiness. This one here I like quite a bit. Very cool looking skeleton man, and that number 20 pick is Checkout Time at the Dead End Hotel. That is one crazy looking bellhop. Looks dead on his feet though. Alright, moving on to the next one. Number 19, Trick or Trapped. This was kind of a cool looking aesthetic with the orange and the blue. Very good shades of those colors. The cover itself has a monster here that I don't remember being in the book too much. Maybe like 30% of the book. This is not a good book. To be as rare as it is, this is not a good one. If you guys happen to check that out as a special edition, do not buy that for like $100. Try to get your best one for like 50 at the most. That book is not worth anything else. I got mine for like 25 when I bought it from somebody from Australia on eBay. And I will tell you, that book is a stinker, dude. Alright, number 18 on my list. Welcome to the Wicked Wax Museum. Really good read. Really enjoyed this. Nice cover with the lady melting. Very nice. Very nice. Reminds me of Morticia from Addams Family. Number 17 on my list, All Day Nightmare, the final GYG book to come out. I think this is like the, for sure, final one to ever come out. Not the best read ever, but a very slick looking cover, one of the better books, and to have the final cover of the GYG in that horrible format, the art doesn't look too bad, in my opinion. Number 16, Night in Werewolf Woods. Not a great read. Really like the cover and the aesthetics and the design with the holographic stuff. You know all that. The color design. The cover ain't too bad. Very detailed. I really like that kind of weird homage to The Lion King right there. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Number 15 on my list is Toy Terror, Batteries Included. Nasty Kathy. Yeah, Nasty Kathy. I like all of these color choices for these original covers here pretty much. Before they changed the formatting, they look good. The cover designs like that, Nagata did a really good job with that cover. I like it a lot. Right, number 14. This one is a homage to The Creature from the Black Lagoon. That is Deep in the Jungle of Doom. Yeah, that's basically The Creature from the Black Lagoon right there. For all I remember, there could have been a reference to that in this book. I don't know. Very nice. Very nice. I want to show you the whole book and the close-up of the picture art, you know, just in case you guys want to see the whole cover. I'm sorry for not doing it as much at the beginning of the video, but here we are. I'll try my best to do better. Do better. Alright, let's see. Number 13 on the list. It's Only a Nightmare. The very Freddy Krueger throwback book. This one is pretty solid. Really enjoyable. If you like stuff about nightmares and dreams, pretty cool. This is the Sleep Master. I love the lightning out the window. Very nice detail. Even though, I wish the camera was pulled out just a little bit to the end of the bed, the very foot of the bed. And you could argue that it is, but I kind of wish you could at least see the end of the bed. You know, I don't know why. I just kind of want to. I think it would look better for this camera design for the actual picture. Right. Number 12 on the list. We're almost in the top 10. Number 12 is Escape from Horror House. Now, by the way, this is an Indian copy. I talked about this yesterday in my ranking video of the books and their stories and whatever. But when I say that, this is a very hard copy, as in, like, the cover itself on the front and back and the spine, they feel very cardboard-like, very heavy. This, of course, cover reminds me a lot of Monster House, way before Monster House ever came out. The old movie from back in the day, like the mid-2000s, early 2000s. And that film's not bad. I think I liked this more than I like Monster House, but Monster House is pretty well made for a Robert Zemeckis movie. Yeah, pretty cool. Like that cover a lot. This one I struggled not to put in my top 10. I had a lot of struggle and a lot of debate because I really love this book a lot. It has some really good moments in it, some really funny moments. Just overall, the tone of this book is really humorous. The cover matches that so well. I love the color scheme and everything. It just looks so good. The art style is good, even for the newer formats from later on with the Craig White era. Anyway, number 11 on my list, before we get to top 10, is Scary Birthday to You. I love this. It reminds me of those 1990s obsessions with flames I had when I was a kid, dude. It looks so good. And then you zoom in, it's a cake, a birthday cake, that has a dead rat or zombie rat, like worms and bugs. Oh, it's great. I love it. Such a good cover, dude. Such a good cover with the black and the orange. I love it. Such a great cover. One of the best of GYG. And now we've made it into the top 10. Please, again, if you haven't remembered to, please put your comment down in the comment section what you think would be my top 10, and we'll start talking about yours in a few minutes. So, number 10 on my list is Diary of a Mad Mummy, a book that I loved quite a bit, had quite a few bit of fun with it when I did my Mummy review marathon back in the day, and I really love it. He's just very cute. He reminds me a lot of the original Nutty Professor, not the Eddie Murphy one, but the original one. God, I can't remember the actor's name. Very well-known comedian from back in the day, but he reminds me a lot of that. Look at the guy. He looks just like him. Looks just like him. Little science book and everything. Very cute. The glasses, the little bits of hair. Very nice. Number 9 on my list is the second book of the series, TikTok, You're Dead. The first one that Craig Nagata did. Really, really nice book. This is the first GYG book I read, by the way. Really love that cover. That design is very nice, dude. Very Tim Jacobus, by the way. Now we're on to number 8 of my list. I forgot. I lost track. I'm not too bad when I get to the last 5 or 6, but I lost my track. Anyway, number 8 on the list is the only one Tim Jacobus did, Escape from the Carnival of Horrors. This is really easy to come by. You can find it quite often on eBay in different book lots and GYG lots. This cover is so detailed, which shows a lot of talent from Tim Jacobus in anything he did. Series 2000, classic era series from the OG 62, or just one like this, one random one to start off a new series. Look at that cover though, dude. The detailing with the vines, the bars here that the alligator or crocodile, whatever this stupid thing is, bending those things to push his head through. This is a phenomenal read. A lot of dropped references to like Slappy and Monster Blood and things like that in here. I love carnivals, so that was a great thing for the atmosphere. It felt like you were there for the setting. It was such an effective book in total. But that cover, man, oh, that cover's beautiful. Really good job, Jacobus. Number 7 on my list is Scream of the Evil Genie. Pretty cool concept for a book. Really solid cover. I'm a little surprised I ended up kind of putting this above Tim Jacobus' cover, but I kind of just settled there. I really like the detailings with the fence. That mist and fog does not look like it would be easy to do. It reminds me a lot of like Tim Jacobus covers where you'll have like ghostly images like Tales to Give You Goosebumps with Curly being kind of a ghost, you know? Very nice. I like it a lot. The eyes are very cool. The little soda can that it's coming out of course, part of the story. Very nice. Like it a lot. All right. We are on number 6 of my list, and that is The Creepy Creations of Professor Shock. I love this cover. Very good cover. Very, very cool cover. I'm a big Terminator fan. I'm a big fan of the fear of being of that being AI. You know, AI scares the crap out of me. One of my favorite things about this cover is the color scheme and that kind of silverish thing and the little microchips in here. Can you see that? The little microchips in here. Look at that. How detailed is that? Who thought of that? But then you have the actual art here. The robot has like one arm, no legs, and he's just scary, dude. If I saw something like that in real life, even though it is a cartoon for the cover, that would have frightened me a lot. Very good cover, dude. Really enjoy it. From here on out, these are pretty much covers that I love quite a bit. And of course, we are in the top 5 here at this point, so I can kind of put my phone over to the side. My number 5 pick is one of my favorites, if not my very favorite of GYG. I'm not going to spoil the big ranking video I did yesterday, but this is easily in my top 5 books of the entire series of GYG, and very much probably my top 10 or 15 of all of Goosebumps, the hundreds of books that exist of it. This is a great read. I recommend it a lot, but the book itself's cover is a good one too. Number 5 is Little Comic Shop of Horrors. Yes, named after the Little The Little Shop of Horrors. That's the actual cover or title of a movie that it's based on from Jack Nicholson. And then they had the remake with Rick Moranis. The cover itself is a superhero lizard, or supervillain lizard. If you read the book, it has a lot to do with comic books, superheroes, mainly like X-Men type stuff, but there's also a basement in this comic book shop that has the Universal monsters just kind of wandering around in a tunnel down there and sleeping and stuff, and that's really scary. If you want comedy and you want fear, this has both. The cover is very comedy focused on the super lizard. I like it a lot. Really, really great read. Highly recommend that one. Not a hard one to come by either. Number 4, this is not a good book at all. Probably worse than the sequel, or the book that it's a sequel to. Yes, GYG had one book that was a sequel to a book that's in GYG. It's not like Return to Terror Tower, where you're doing a sequel to another book outside of this particular series of GYG books. This one is a sequel to the first ever Tim Jacobus, of course, GYG cover and book that came out. And this book sucks, but the cover is fantastic. Reminds me a lot of Tales to Give You Goosebumps, the first few covers of, well, the first cover being Curly being very ghostly, very spiritual and scary. This one is kind of a silly take on that. My number 4 pick is Return to Carnival of Horrors. This is not a wonderful cover by any means, but this is a really good one. This has some nice detailing. I love, again, that kind of wispiness of the ghosts, how they're on the ride and there's like a trail behind them. I love the moon and the clouds, the train, or the tracks on the ride. I mean, it's just an incredibly detailed cover. And look at the faces, dude. Again, kind of silly, kind of cartoonish, but they even have their hands up riding this ride. Not all of them, but some of them. That's great. That is such a cool detail for a cover for a book that's not that great. That's a sequel to a book that is great. I think the first one of the Carnival of Horrors, Escape from Carnival of Horrors, the one I just showed you a little bit ago, is a fantastic read. This one not so much. This one really sucks and lacks the charm of that first book, but the cover does not. I think it's better than the first one's cover. Number 3 on my list. This is one that I didn't know I would put as high as I did until I started actually sitting down looking at all the GYG covers, and I was thinking, you know, this one's a lot better than I ever gave it credit for until yesterday. I talked about it briefly. Number 3 on my list is The Knight in Screaming Armor. Now, my copy is a little bit beat up that I bought, and so as I show it to you in close-up, you're going to see like the little bends and all that. Look at this cover, dude, with this horse and the trees in the background, the moon, I guess mist or whatever this would be, moon rays, I don't know. But look at the knight with the yellow eyes. It's beautiful, dude. What a great looking cover. Really. Number 2 on my list. These top 2 are some of my favorite Goosebumps covers ever. They are beautiful, they're dark, they remind me of just fall and Halloween and October and trick-or-treating and everything, the decorations, candy, all that stuff. These are beautiful covers. It really took me a lot to settle on which one was better than the other one. But I finally came around to what I thought, even though I enjoy both books quite a bit. They're not amazing or anything, but I think they're both pretty solid for what they are. Number 2 on my list, and it also happens to have a big old sticker in the dead middle of the cover. You're not really missing anything though, so don't worry. Number 2 on my list is The Curse of the Creeping Coffin. Look at this, dude, with the yellow and all of this like purplish black for the holographic stuff. And then you zoom in, and you see the hands and the rib cage of the skeleton inside of this coffin. I hate the stickers right here. I wish I could have gotten it out of the way, but I don't trust myself, because some stickers work and they come off, some do not. I don't trust that from anybody, thrift books or anybody. This is a great cover, dude. I love this. The red sky, the different gravestones, the grass. It's so freaking detailed, dude. The cobwebs down here, too. It just looks amazing. The leaves on top of it. It feels and it looks like a graveyard, and it's creepy. I love it. Beautiful cover, man. I almost made that number 1. And then as I looked, I was like, you know, this is a little basic. A little basic. It's a Nagata cover, but it looks incredible. As you can tell from my like top 15 or 20, I'm more of a Nagata guy than I am a Craig White guy. That's just my opinion on it. I think that Nagata really gets it. I don't think Craig White's a bad artist. I think he was given kind of a bad deal, in my opinion. It feels like, again, Scholastic kind of went in a cheaper route for his particular portion of GYG. That's just my opinion, though. That's an accusation, not a real thing, not saying I know that. I'm just saying. That's what it seems like to me, because of how Scholastic treated Goosebumps after Harry Potter became so big. Anyway, number 1 on my list, of course, you guys probably know what's been missing. It's a little bit of a beat-up cover as well, but I love this book's cover so well. Really solid read, too. Really enjoyable book. I read it for my camping marathon when I did the camping books and stuff years ago. And this one really surprised me by how eerie it was, how dark it was, how gory it could be a couple of times. That is, as my number 1 pick, Escape from Camp Run for Your Life. Now, I could change the color here. Like, I wish this was kind of a shiny black, and then have the holographic be like orange or something. But the actual cover itself, the picture in here, look at this, dude. Look at these zombie people. Look at this guy here. He has half a face that's a skull and half that has skin. That is absolutely petrifying, dude. His hands are skeletal. His shirt is so cool. I love the detailing on these other folks here. Look at that. Look at that, dude. Look at these zombie kids. The trees in the background look incredible. That's really what sells me on this, too. The moon back there. The campfire, all of it. It is just such an incredible cover, dude. The kind of detailing on this. I can't even imagine how long it took Nagata to do this. Just a beautiful, beautiful cover for a really solid read. And even the background of the book, the back of the book, I mean, you get a zoomed in photo to really get some details on this picture of this kid. Look at that. Look at that. Tell me that's not absolutely horrific. I love it. It's shockingly creepy. I cannot believe that made it onto a Goosebumps book, or a kid's book for that matter. That shows the guts that a lot of people used to have back in the 90s to publish horror for kids and do stuff like that. But anyway, that is my list, folks, for the covers from worst to best, all 50 of the GYG books, from the regulars to the special editions. And I hope you had a good time watching, and I hope you had a good time listening to my commentary and ranting and venting and all that stuff. Thank you for being here. That is the end of the video, basically. Of course, as you know, I'm done with the GYG stuff now. I've done these, I've done the entire classic series, reviewed all of them, did the ranking videos of the covers and the stories of that. I did it with Most Wanted, I did it with Horrorland, and I think there's something else, Tales to Give You Goosebumps. I did realize I did not do a cover ranking for the Tales to Give You Goosebumps. So at some point I will make a video for that. It's been 2 years or 3 years in coming, so I need to get on that. I will do that at some point. But anyway, I need to move on, and I have like 5 Series 2000 books. I thought there was only 4 left, but it turns out there's 5 of that. I have like 8 TV books left. So I'm going to start working on those mainly, trying to get some other stuff wrapped up, and start making the big video reviews for you guys, and get a lot of other ranking videos out here soon. And then in the coming weeks, you will have a lot of ranking videos coming out from me of all the stuff you guys want to see. Mainly Series 2000 will be the one that I finish up fairly soon, I would say. With those last 5 books, couple of weeks, I'll probably be done with those. I don't have a whole lot more content to make. There's not many books left to review. I think I'm right at like 20, maybe right at 19, 20, somewhere in there. I don't have a whole lot left to review for the channel until I'm done with the entire book series ever. Aside from newer books coming out, of course. God willing, I'll live long enough, I can review those and do them and whatever. With all that being said, though, that is it, guys. I have a lot coming in for you guys, but here we are. I bombed out a lot of reviews this week for you guys and last week, and I hope that you'll be able to enjoy all of this. I'm going to go finish up a couple of TV books and then come back and doing some reviews for those. I might record them today and get them uploaded as well, maybe tomorrow. I don't know yet, but we will see what happens. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for tuning in. And for you folks that had to wait so long for a GYG cover video or for the ranking video like yesterday, I'm so glad that I got to finally produce this for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time. I'd love to see your comments down below about what you think are the best, the worst. Rank them from 50 to number 1. I'd love to see all of it. Thank you for watching, guys. What are your thoughts? God bless you. Happy Wednesday. I almost said Tuesday, but it's Wednesday. Thank God. I have 2 more days after this until the weekend. Thank God. Thank God. It's been a rough week, dude. Anyway, God bless you guys. Goodbye.